again to United Prison Ministry, changing lives on the inside. We're so happy that you've joined us again today, wherever you may be. And if you've been missing the program in the past, I hope you don't miss it in the future. Whatever station or whatever satellite that you're looking at this program, you can do two things. You can let them know that you're seeing it on their station or channel, wherever it may be. And also you can write us or email us and let us know that you're looking at us, because we want to know how you feel about the program Changing Lives on the Inside by United Prison Ministry. Of course, you know, with me today, once again, is my co-host, Ellie, Conrad. We have with us in the past, Shirley Lowe Miller, which is still with us on the staff too, so don't get us wrong. Sometime you won't see me at all, which I'm sure if you looked at it for the last few months, you didn't see me for a whole month, wasn't it, Shirley?
I know.
I think a whole month you did it without me.
I did.
2 months.
It was tough, but we struggled through it, Richard.
You know, it was 2 months.
Were you gone that long?
2 months, because I was talking to Dane, our director.
Yes.
And he said there were 8 programs.
That's right.
8 months.
We did.
2 months.
And we had some tremendous people on the show, too.
That I didn't need to see, huh?
No, you really needed to see them, but you were off gallivanting and, you know, hobnobbing with people of higher status than myself.
You sent me down to do the dirty. I mean, to do the work. You sent me out there to beat the bushes. And no, I just know that it was in good hands. But let me tell you this. Even when I left, I think I told you this, though, off camera. When I left Washington, D.C., a lady stopped me. That's a TV personality that has been, I've been knowing her for 15 or 16 years. And she said, see, years ago, before I got on, well, we've been on since 87, I was telling her, I said, you know, you could be an asset to this show. So she would always tell me, I saw it out in Puerto Rico, different parts of the world. But yesterday she told me, she said, you know, you don't need me anymore, you got Ellie.
Well, you know, you tell her she needs to come down to Verbena, Alabama.
But you know what? I sort of agree with her now.
You do?
No, we don't need her anymore. So, Paula, if you're looking at this out there, don't worry about it anyway. But
and
you're
Paula,
all right,
I still love you, okay?
I do too. I do too. But who do we have with us today?
Oh, you're going to really enjoy this today. And this is a little bit of a different theme, but it's one that Christians across the world are struggling with. And it is the healing force of music.
Oh, yes.
And I have Mr. Julian Owens with us.
Julian Owens?
Yes.
Julian, welcome to the Changing Lives on the Inside. So happy to have you with us.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Julian, huh?
That's right.
You know, that rings a bell. That's music when you say the word.
It is, isn't it? Julian!
Or, you know, what's that school in New York they got?
Juilliard.
Juilliard,
School of Music. That's right.
School, they said
that's his twin.
They said that's the best.
Juilliard.
But you know, Juilliard is supposed to be the best in the world.
But I have the best musician and artist right here.
What does he do?
Julian, why don't you tell them about yourself? Because you have actually such a varied background, and it's been difficult to almost get Julian to focus on exactly what his strength is, because he has so many of them.
Well, I thank God that I have the inspiration to share music with people in a lot of different ways. One, as a performer, and then as a producer of music, and then also as a composer and a publisher of music. So I just think that music is a tremendous force for us to really, you know, focus our attention on all of its assets and how it can really help us heal some of the wounds that people are faced with.
Now you said music. What type of music?
Well, I'd like to think of this.
You said healing, so it's got to be the right type.
That's right, that's right. I'd like to think of this music as inspirational jazz. So what we have are components of traditional jazz music, components of gospel, and in fact some components of popular music in terms of some of the rhythms and the beats, because that's really where the young people's attention is today, is the beat. But we want to make sure that the message is in the music as well, so we focus a lot on the lyrical content. And instead of using electronic instruments, which is what a lot of folks use, we like to focus on the authentic acoustic instruments like piano, guitar, percussions, and upright bass, things that you don't really need electricity to hear.
Well, you know, I was just over in Tanzania, and we heard the beautiful music from the voices of the people that sound like, I mean, you know, heaven itself. And when you use the word jazz, I'm sure it's not the kind of jazz that people think in terms of that lowers people morale. It's the type that uplifts, because that word sometimes is misused in society. You see what I mean?
That's right.
Because you're thinking about something that uplifts people.
Absolutely.
And that's what the gospel does.
Exactly.
And of course, some people, you know, if you may call it, of course, we don't, not the rock, gospel rock. I can't see how that uplifts. Does that uplift people?
Well, I mean, people are moved by a lot of different things,
Yeah,
but
does it lift them to draw close? Does it lift them to draw closer to the Lord?
I would hesitate to say that it does or doesn't. For me, I tend to find my the space that I can worship in being able to, you know, really listen to the words and really listen to the spirit of the instruments.
See, that's the key thing there. I heard the Owens, by the way.
Beautiful.
They performed this past week where I was. It was awesome.
They are they're the heavenly choir, aren't they?
It was awesome. They did, in fact, they used the word just what you just used there. It was interesting because this was a highly religious group, and they used the word spiritual type of jazz, and the connotation that they had it in was very uplifting. They had the movements of, how you want to put it, of the native people, along with the spiritual blessing, and this was done at a highly spiritual organization. I heard of that too.
Right, and you know
it was very uplifting.
That music right now in the church is something that almost has become divisive, because you have the struggle between the newer contemporary sounds that the younger people like versus the traditional sounds that, you know, the old people like me and you like.
But you know, though, I think he had the key word, for that I'm concerned, words that you can understand.
Absolutely.
Now, I've heard, and I don't understand some music that I've briefly hear on the radio, you passing by, they making all this kind of boom, 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 you don't understand a word.
And you know, it was interesting that recently I was at a concert with the one and only Wintley Phipps, and he talked about music today being the 7-Eleven music, and we were saying, the 7-Eleven music, what is that? He said, the same 7 words repeated 11 times.
And that is the truth. Now that I don't call music. I call it when you, like you said, when you can understand the words, like the Aeolian, they were singing, but you can understand every word they were saying.
That's right. Well, it's a really sort of sensitive subject, because out of respect for all those who consider themselves musicians and artists, I guess everything that they do could technically be considered music. But I like to use music specifically for a healing purpose, and with so many problems in the world today, socially, and so many people galvanized around music, particularly hip-hop, I think this is an outstanding time and opportunity to really purpose what we listen to.
To come up with some good music.
Absolutely.
Now, Julian, you mentioned something when we were talking a week or so ago.
Yeah.
This was so interesting, Richard. He was talking about how the vibrations from music can have a particular effect on people. Could you share that with, because it was so interesting what he was talking about, and I really had to struggle to kind of understand it, but when I went home and thought about it, it made a lot of sense. So that vibrations, tell us about that.
Yes, well, it's actually a whole sort of science behind this, and I don't really know the science well enough to speak as an authority, but one of my colleagues, who's actually a partner in the music that we create, is an ethnomusicologist, and he's shared with me.
Say that word again.
An ethnomusicologist. And it's actually, you know, the meaning of it is very similar to the words. It's the study of ethnic music around the world. But he has pointed out to me, particularly in the mixing and mastering process, that you can set certain frequencies to really cause a specific kind of reaction. Yes, and the thing is most people are not attuned to this, but record producers tend to focus on the bass and the drums, and in doing so, they create a certain vibration that causes people to really want to move and to sort of syncopate their motion. Now, when that's done with a real intensity, it can actually cause people to feel anxious, and in doing so, they can become more active and maybe even sometimes misdirect their action and hostility toward others. So this is an area that a lot more has to be done with, but very, very interesting area of how music can be used.
But I passed by a car not too long ago, and I was up at a red light, and the car pulled up there, and the car was just bouncing.
Yes.
The music was so loud in this car, it was jarring this car.
Absolutely.
It was moving. Now, and I could tell that this guy, if he wasn't on dope, he was going to get on it real quick. Cause he was just there going on in the car there. And that's what music does.
Absolutely.
Like you said, it drives you. And then he gets out, he does something crazy, murders somebody. He don't even know why he did it.
Exactly.
But he was driven. But a third of the angels right now are not in heaven because of what? Music.
That's right. And you're absolutely right that for years music has been an instrument that can really sort of separate those who are in fact worshiping God versus those who are part of some other assembly. So I'm very in tune with how the Lord has gifted really me and several others to really redirect the music that we hear today and cause people to really be calm and cause people to really focus on the healing aspects.
And that's very important. We have a roll-in coming up because, we talk to men and women in prison all over the world.
Yes.
And I want you to see some lives that are being changed. If they show this roll-in now.
I'm here in Easterling in Clio, Alabama with Mr. Knight. Mr. Knight is going to tell you something about his life and something about the Faith Dormitory and what it's meant in his life.
Well, I came here to Eastland in 1996 in November, and I've been here for a while. And I thank God for this opportunity because when I was on the streets, I was rebellious, didn't want to learn anything, didn't want to tell me anything. Before I came to prison, God saved me in Houston County Jail on July the 2nd, 1992. I did 3 years at Holman Institution, and the Lord raised me up to bring me here, put me up on this ministry at Eastland. Since I've been here, I have had me surrogate fathers as Chaplain Askew, and one of my surrogate ministers' fathers, and Sam Williams as one of my spiritual fathers as well. And I thank God for this opportunity. Since I've been in here, I have learned how to be submissive, humble, learn how to treat people right, talk to them, and share the word of God with my family and tell them how the Lord loved them and witness to them. I just thank God for this because it helped me to mold me into the man that God would have me to be. Because when I was in the society, I couldn't do it. But I thank God for this opportunity to be here. Though I'm in prison, it's a place for me to learn from, not for me to stay here. And I thank God for that because it's a learning center for me. I learned here since I've been here to make it a stepping stone inside a stumbling block. And I thank God for it. And I thank Chaplain Askew for coming, Lord, sending him as a minister here, sharing his life with us, pouring into it, investing in our lives. Because without someone investing in you, couldn't share what God has done for you. And Lord, allowed me to leave my mother, my father, my sisters, and to him July the 2nd of 1997. I thank God for that. And how to show love to one another here. Have more brothers, because I have four brothers and 2 sisters, but to have brothers in prison that you can sit down and share the word of God with. And man, it's been a good experience for me, and it'll help me for the rest of my life when I get in society. To look back at this, as a focal point for me to continue to stay in society and share wherever I go how God has blessed my life here.
And the blessing is something that we have to continue to keep going towards young people such as this. Now, Julian, that young man is right there in the age group of young people who are being impacted by the different types of music today that are creating many of the harsh emotions and responses.
Yes.
And you can see that he's in prison.
Yes.
How do you see your music being used in a prison setting in order to make life a much more enjoyable and pleasant environment for people who are not in a very pleasant environment?
Right. Well, it has a lot of implications. I would say that what we want to offer is an alternative to the kind of music that causes you to feel anxious. We realize that in doing so, we should probably offer music that is contemporary and that will be appealing to young people, but we want to distinctly offer something that's different. So that in those moments of despair or feeling, like you want to offer some sort of hostile response to something that someone has done to you. We want to put a vibration in the airways that is soothing, that is calming, that is comforting. And so what we do, Ellie, is we just create beautiful music. And today, that's not a word that I hear a lot of people describing music. They'll call it hot or funky or fat. But we just want to make beautiful music.
I know you weren't talking about me when you said fat.
Oh,
were you?
no. It's the PHAT.
Oh, the PHAT kind of fat.
That's right.
But let me ask you, I'd like to ask him a question here. Are you available for concerts and what? You say you write music and you produce music. How?
Well,
How can the public out there get a hold of you to use your services?
Well,
in a Christian way.
I am available to do concerts and vespers and.
Tell the people right over out there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm very, very happy to perform live. In addition, though, we have several other artists that we're working with who bring, a lot of diversity. We have people of Latin descent. We have, of course, some European Americans as well as African Americans. Ranging in age from as young as 22 years old upwards to 35 or so. So, what we do is you can contact us via my website, which is www.hereislife.com. And we also anticipate having some promotional information on julianowens.com. That will be forthcoming. And we invite invitations all across the world and all across the United States in particular. We'd be happy to come and perform.
Now, you said all types of world. Do you know this is being shown in China?
Wow.
Australia?
No, I didn't.
Russia?
Whoa.
Philippines? Indonesia? All continents of the world are seeing this satellite program that you're on. So now, do you want to change your statement and say, I'm just asking you, I'm serious now.
Well,
Ellie should have warned you.
I didn't warn him. We just let people come on the show and boom, there we go.
Yeah, but
well, that's just fine. That's just fine. We may have some challenges forthcoming to service the world, but we definitely would be happy to.
But you really want to focus now on the United States, the continental United States.
Primarily the continental United States, but also Europe and the Caribbean.
Okay, well let it be known because I'm serious, because you're going to hear from somebody in Afghanistan.
Wow.
That's right.
Okay, we'll respond.
Because see, it's shown on satellite. Now satellite is up there. All they got to do is pull it down, and they got downlinks all over the world for this channel that we on. We call it Safe TV. It's one of the channels, and other channels be picking it up.
But now, Richard, you've done a lot of travel all over the world. And I know that you and I, when we had a conversation about, wasn't it in Africa, where you were talking about the beautiful harmony that was coming from the voices of people. Share that, because that's the kind of thing that Julian and I were talking about, is how when you get away from all the music and instrumentation, it's really, again, it gets about the vocals, the words, the sounds.
Now, I'm going to tell you 3 areas that I would suggest, from my experience, that you should visit.
Okay.
One of them, believe it or not, is in the Philippines. Those people got it together in music. They're different, but you'd be surprised. Also in Romania. Those people at every church meeting, from the morning till evening, they have a choir. They believe in music. And of course, Africa.
Yes.
You need to spend some time down there and the different groups of it, and hear the different sounds that they have out of their mouths, and also out of little boxes and drums, little things that you wouldn't even dream of that they play. You see what I mean? And I'm looking at that. The Chinese, they didn't sing that much, but they perform. They're great performers, But I mean, far as music is concerned, I heard some beautiful music coming out of those 3 parts of the world. I would suggest, and you're traveling. Of course, you got the Paris, you got the different type of music down there, and I'm sure. But since you have a full range of music, I know you will enjoy it, you know. But just to hear the organ, to hear those voices, you know, it is, and even in Poland, even in Yugoslavia, I was down in Prague. I mean, you know, it's something. We think, you may think that you all are the only one that can sing, but some of the other people that can sing too.
Well, my revelation actually came while I was in Saudi Arabia do music, and so the people.
How long
in
were you
Arabia,
in Saudi Arabia?
I was in Saudi Arabia about 4 months back in 1997.
Oh, when it was a gold mine.
When it was much safer.
His next job is as a diplomat. Okay.
He's got it already.
That's right.
He's expressing it now. No, really though, it's so. Like I said, did they participate much in music there in Saudi? I know they do. Yeah.
Well, the Arabs do in general, but Saudi Arabia is a bit of a more restrictive culture. I spent some time in Egypt too, and they're very active.
Very
in
active.
the arts.
That's right.
In Egypt.
Very active. Yeah. Yes.
Well, you know, we're really going along smoothly with this conversation, but every now and then we do have to cut in to tell people about something very, very important, you know, and you know what this is, don't you? This is one of Richard's absolutely favorite subjects, and that is the books. And we all know about the wonderful book that is available right now. All you have to do is go up online to www.upmi.org or email us at office@upmi.org. And when you do, request the book, Bible Questions Answered. And we always know that you're willing, that the Lord is going to impress you to send a nominal donation, hopefully $10 or more, and we'll be more than happy to put one of these books in the mail to you, and it will help you to further the work of the Lord. You can share this book everywhere you go, and it'll also help United Prison Ministries International to continue its work. And the beauty of these two books is that you have it in English under the title Bible Questions Answered, and you have it in Spanish with the name of Respuestas a Preguntas Bíblicas.
Go ahead, Owens.
Let's see what they have to say about that.
Questions. People in here, they're filled with questions. Serious questions.
How can God love a criminal?
Tough questions.
How can God reach me in prison?
Important questions.
Who will take care of my children?
But they're not the only ones asking questions. People out here, they're asking questions too. Just as serious.
What happens when I die?
Just as tough.
How can God forgive me?
Just as important.
Is there really a hell?
Now, you can give them all the answers. Real answers. Simple answers. Powerful answers. Bible answers. With UPMI's new Bible Questions Answered, call 1-888-876-4123 to get your copies of Bible Questions Answered. People everywhere are asking tough questions. Now, you can hand them an answer. Call now. The questions are tough. The answers are simple.
You know, Ellie, I was just thinking when I was sitting here just now, while that was showing about the book, I don't want people to forget that you are in a ministry also.
That's true.
And what you're doing on this program, not this show, this program, is volunteering your service to get out the message. But tell us just in a minute or two, however long it takes you, what do you do? How can they use your services also? Because, see, without that, you won't be able to help us.
Well, the name of my company is Two Life Publications, and we are located in Birmingham, Alabama. I am a marketing, advertising, and public relations firm. And the idea really is to help other people in their Christian ministries. It's not about me, as you know. It's never about me as a person. My goal, and this is what I've asked the Lord to do, is to allow me to have vehicles that help others to share their ministries with the world.
So therefore, if there are people out there who can use your service? Give me an example. Who could use your services?
Well, you, for instance.
Well, that's true.
That's true. But actually, Julian is a person that I have begun to work with, and we're doing promotional work with him as an artist. I work with other people who are authors, speakers. I've even worked with a politician and helped him develop his speaking style, coaching him, writing, all of those types of things. We produce commercials, television shows. We do just a wide range of things. And if someone wants to reach me, they can call area code 205-314-3413. Or they can email me at twolifepub, that's TWOLIFEPUB @yahoo.com.
Now, if you forget all of that, which I've already forgotten, and you look at this show every week, you can at least call us and we'll give you that information, okay? Because you may forget all that.
That was a lot,
That was a whole lot.
That was.
But I just want you to know, please, if you can utilize a Christian company service in those areas, be happy to contact Ellie, okay? Because she's part of this work, you know, and the more that you supply her with, the more she can do what?
Help others. That was my goal.
Help others, that's
And that's
right.
the thing, because when you called and asked me to work, you know, with you on this show, the very first thing I did was I began to make a list of those people that I knew had very good and powerful ministries, but they were just looking for that little bit extra exposure, that edge to get the word out.
Well, you're getting it today, Julian, because like I said, I hope it don't go too far, more than you can handle. You know, but at the United States, I think that people will be contacting your company, you know.
That's exciting.
And you will let them know how to reach you. Tell us once again, as they put your name up on and your address up on the screen, how can you be reached?
Yes, right now I can be reached via the internet at www.hereislife.com. Again, that's www.hereislife.com.
And you know, we understand that the whole debate over music is going to be one until Jesus comes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and we know that. But the beauty of it is that we would like to be able to expose the rest of the community and the rest of the world to different types of music, alternatives, as we go forward in our Christian, pathway. And Julian is certainly a good example of a person and the type of music that we're looking for that will lead us, you know, to the heavenly gates.
Like I said, as Philippians 4:8, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are good report, if there be any virtue, if there be any praise, think on these things. And I just want to thank you once again that you tuned in to United Prison Ministry, because we are changing lives, not on the inside, but the outside. May God bless you.